Do you think most narcissists are like consciously aware of what they're trying to do, or are a lot unaware? What do you think?
Look, totally from that respect, in as far as how to manipulate and get people eating out of their hands, they are totally aware because it's a survival mechanism. They can't show up in life as a true self and get their needs met. And there's actually no true self operating. So they are very, very, very aware of how to manipulate people. So in that way, they're conscious of what they're doing. Where they're deeply unconscious of what they're doing is they know what they're doing, but they don't know why they do it. They don't know that they've disowned their inner being. They are completely self-avoiding and self-divorced to their inner pain and trauma that has created a false self. So that unconsciousness means that they're not going to heal from it. They're not going to take responsibility for it. But as far as agendas and a means to an end, they are totally aware of that.
Got it. Yeah, just interesting just to try to understand the inner workings there. I'd love to talk a little bit more about some of your programs, and we'll talk about a gift you have for everybody as well as your community. So I know that you've had like thousands of graduates from programs and what you're doing. Why do you think that things are so effective for people who work with you?
Why they're effective is because my program, and it's based around quantum freedom healing, which is an incredible tool to heal. But what it does is it bypasses the obsessive triggered brain that's in survival and terror and trauma and fear and heartbreak, and gets into the body to work on those inner programs. As I was talking about before, that young 3-year-old child, you know, the genetic traumas of your mum that you've taken on, the collective traumas as women that we've taken on. I can't survive without a man, and men have, you know, unless I can fix her, I'm not going to be loved, and all of those things, because there's men in our community too. So by learning how, and the program does it for you, all you have to do is follow the instructions. And a lot of people will say, even from the first shift that they do in module 1, it's like, oh my God, that is the first bit of relief that I've had. It's very neuroquantum science, so it's very much aligned with the work of Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, the late Candace Pert, all of these sort of people who now understand that the brain follows the body. And if you get a shift in the subconscious programs, your brain neurons will automatically follow. So it's powerful because 95% of our life is going on from what our subconscious programs, our emotions are driving, and our 5% capacity that's left is following that. It's incredibly hard to think your way out of severe trauma. The body shift's far more effective. That's why it works.
Yeah, I think that is just something that I hear more and more about in many different events that we do at AVAIYA, but absolutely that it's so ingrained in our body that trauma is just, it's ingrained in there. And it's so important that we address our healing from that level. So I love that. And I love Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, and all those fabulous people.
Rock stars in healing. They really are.
Absolutely. So there's a couple buttons below this video, everyone who's watching or listening, that lead over to Melanie's site. She has a free, I think, course for you, as well as this program that we're talking about. So could you share a little bit more about those two things?
Yeah, the 3 course is a 16-day course, which will take you through so many clarities, aha moments. It will lead you into my free webinar, which I would love you to do, because you get to experience quantum freedom healing for yourself as a result of doing that. And, you know, if you've really, so that's wonderful. And whether or not you do the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, I really suggest that you do that, because it's a beautiful supplement to NARP as well. So NARP, which is the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, that is the program that in our community, it is literally so defining when we are communicating with people, whether it's through our numerous forums and support networks, which are immense. We know whether somebody is working with the quantum freedom healings or not, because the language is like night and day. People who aren't are still kind of battling and trying to work out the trauma. The people who are getting shifts of awareness and power and clarity and relief, and we hear it in their language all the time. So it's always going to be my highest suggestion, because it will take you straight through to a 10-step process that I've formulated and refined and perfected over the last 12 years. We're now on NARP version 3, which is even more effective and powerful than it's ever been. And what's great about NARP too is it comes with this huge community forum, which is like a 24/7 of thousands of the best minds in narcissistic abuse recovery in the world, there to guide you and help you. And there's nothing that they haven't worked through. I'm in there as well. I have a team of incredible Thriver moderators to help you. So you don't have to heal alone. It's very powerful to have that healing container and that support. And it's set up as a support container that is very different from anything in the world, because abuse forums traditionally are filled with a lot of narcissist bashing, a lot of victimization, a lot of peptide addiction and triggering, whereas this has an incredibly beautiful, loving code of conduct, which filters through the whole ethos of the forum to being supportive, healing, forward-moving, solution-based to get you well. It really works. So if you're serious about healing, I can't recommend NARP enough. And humbly, so many people who've worked with the program who were like me, they tried everything holistically, psychologically to get well. And, you know, at times they were getting some relief, but then they weren't healing for real. The trauma wasn't going. This multidimensionally through your being gets rid of the trauma and reprograms you very quickly and directly. So, yeah.
Thank you. I love that it's solution oriented too. That's so key. And focusing on ourselves and our healing, and not necessarily, right, like you were saying, right, the blaming and all that stuff. That's so important for us to, you know, take our power back in that way. So I love it. And again, everyone, those buttons are right below, so you can click through. And I highly, highly recommend you check out Melanie's work and work further with her. Any last insights? Have we left anything out? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, gosh, Andy, you know, I just really think that this is such, what we're all going through now globally is such a time of fear and pain. And I know there's a lot of people that are isolated with narcissists at the moment, or maybe you were just about to leave, or, you know, it's a very trying time for everybody. And it's hugely trying for people with narcissistic abuse trauma, even if you've left a narcissist. I really want you to know that, yeah, my tools and my recovery things are actually for all trauma and all fear, not just what narcissists are doing. So we've got so many people in our community isolated, really working the NARP modules at the moment for what's going on in the world. And I think that's very important as well.
Thank you for addressing that, because absolutely, we are in a very interesting time, and something most of us have never seen before to this degree. So I just, wherever you're at, you're not alone.
And fear is the greatest virus. Fear is the most viral thing here. It's worse than the virus. We need to heal our fear so we can show up and again be the solution for this thing.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this, for all your work and passion and energy that you put into this. I just appreciate you so much.
Oh, Andy, thank you. And we appreciate you so much for what you're doing. It's just beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone who's watching, who's showing up for themselves right now and tuning in and ready to take on these tools and practices to heal. And we'll see you again real soon. Take care, everybody.